and welcome to the verbal section of the aptitude training program which has been done by Sixth Phrase the Finishing School. Today in particular we are going to be seeing two topics which are sentence correction and sentence completion. These are by far not the toughest topics as such but the most important ones. So let's get started. As we start with every video or every subject that we study, there are prerequisites which needs to be filled. Prerequisites meaning the things or the topics that we need to know earlier before attempting these topics. So the prerequisites for these two topics, which are sentence correction and sentence completion, are the basics of sentence formation, tenses, general awareness of parts of speech, and if clause. For example, the questions or the topics which we are going to face will be mostly based on tenses. So if our idea or our base is not strong enough in tenses, we will not be able to solve most of the questions. And if clause and parts of speech are pretty basic, and I'll be explaining both in the coming slides. So let's go to the basics. So let's start with tenses here. As you know, there are actually 3 base tenses, and then there are actually 12 minor tenses, right? So our 3 basic tenses are past, present and future. We can widely or we can majorly classify all the tenses into these 3, which is past, present and future. So there are these 4 terms which are simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous, right? When we what do they call it, I guess permutation combination or something, when we do that with these 4, let's use past here. When we take past and combine with it simple, we combine it with continuous, we combine this with perfect, and we combine it with perfect continuous, you will get which is simple past, and then past continuous, past perfect, and then past perfect continuous. So in a way, one base or major tense gives rise to 4 minor tense. Here there are 3, so 3 cross 4 gives you 12, right? So we are mostly we are gonna be using, let's say, till here, right? I'll just draw it for you guys will be able to see it. Mostly we'll be solving questions till here. These 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 tenses are the ones which we will incur, or the ones which we will see mostly, right? These 3, past perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, those 3 are let's say the toughest of the lot, and it will take some time for you to actually understand or to see whether they fall, the questions which we are going to see, whether they fall under these 3 categories. If it falls under these 3 categories, then they are going to be, let's say, one of the toughest questions out there, right? It is still solvable. I'm not saying it is unsolvable or it is like the extreme most toughest case or and all. It's not that way. These 9, those are the easiest ones which we can solve. These 3 are let's say a tougher ones, right? So basically we have 12 tenses, base we have 3, and then we have minor tenses as 12. So in order for us to know the concept, we need to be let's say strong in all of these 12 tenses, right? Without knowing these 12 tenses, we will not be able to solve. By knowing what I am saying is I am not saying that you need to know that it is simple past, simple present, simple future. Not the terminology as such. We need to know the grammar part which is behind this. Only then we will be able to understand what kind of question that is. If let's say they are asking you a simple fill up question, very simple question. In that, when you let's say if it is in social or something, some other subject, it will be related to your subject. They do not care about your let's say tense, okay? But when you answer questions here in tenses, it they are gonna be, that is in verbal part, they are gonna be mostly based on your tenses. Like you need to find out what is the first part of the tense, that is first part of the sentence, what tense that is, and then if that particular tense is coming, the second part of the sentence should be in a different tense, that is more or less different, or what needs to come, we need to know all of that. Only then we'll be able to solve. Without knowing that, without actually knowing what is what, we'll not be able to solve it, right? So in the next slide, so just leave the next slide. See, here in the tenses, this is what I was telling you guys about the grammatical part of the tenses form here. So here I've listed them as verb, that is verb 2 and verb 3. Before we actually go into it, you need to know what is actually the meaning of verb 2 and verb 3. So verb actually means it is infinitive form, that is it is infinitive form of the verb, right? And then if you want to go to verb 2, it is actually simple past form of the verb, right? Verb 3 is past participle form of the verb, right? So for example, okay, so in order for you to know the verb form, that is, let's say verb infinitive form, we'd go with begin, right? And then verb 2 will be began, right? Verb 3 will be begun. I guess you guys know that, right? That is the three forms of verb, right? Which is what to say, infinitive form, simple past form, and then past participle form. So whenever verb 3 or wherever verb 3 comes, you just have to put the past participle form of the verb. And in the, when just verb is mentioned, you need to put the infinitive form of the verb. And in verb 2, you'll have to put the simple past form of the verb, right? Okay, so let me just give you examples. That is, for simple past, let's take a very simple example. I'll just write something like this, like I hope this is visible. I wrote a letter. I'm using a red color, therefore it will be easily visible for you guys. A contrasting color, for example. So this is the simple past, right? So if I need to write about simple present, okay. Before that, I'll just tell you, in simple past, this wrote form here, right? Whatever we have wrote here. Wrote is your verb 2, right? Wrote form, that is actually your verb 2, okay. Oh my god, why, what is happening? Okay. Oh, it's malfunctioning. Fine, chill. So I'll just tell you directly, this wrote is your verb 2 form of your verb. So how do you write wrote? That meaning write, wrote, written. Written is your verb 3. We'll just have it here, okay, therefore we'll know. So verb form is write, verb 2 is gonna be wrote, verb 3 is gonna be written, right? So we use this to form sentences here, therefore we'll know what let's say tense to use, what form of verb, and what tense will have what format. Therefore it will be easier for us to actually find out what form they are asking, what tense they are using, right? So if I'm gonna go with simple present here, okay, so I write a letter. That is the simple present form. Here, as you can see, I have written verb plus or addition of s. So what does this mean? Meaning, as you guys know, when it is singular, you do not use s. If it is plural, you will add s in the end of the verb. But it is the opposite here, right? For example, let's write an example with he. You do not write he write a letter. That does not work. You add he writes a letter, that is, you add s to the verb if the subject which we are talking about here is singular. So if it is singular, you add s to the end, right? Only in the simple present form. It is not applicable anywhere else. It is applicable only in the simple present form where you add s if it is a singular form. Let's say, for example, let's say they, right? You do not go and add s. They write a letter. That is the actual grammar, right? So let's talk about okay. We have will or shall plus verb. She will write a letter. That is an example, right? So we'll have to go with past continuous. As we know the format already, we have was or were plus verb plus you need to have an ing since it is a continuous form. What do you mean by a continuous form? Continuous form or continuous tense means that the thing which is happening is continuous. It has been doing. It is continuing. It is being done. For example, you guys are listening to the class. So when I say, when I am describing something which is happening, that is in a continuous form, I'll have to add ing in the end, right? So she was writing a letter. Present continuous form, she, okay, we have is or are. She is writing a letter. Future continuous, she will. We have be form here. We need to be very careful about this. Future continuous will have be form added. Just clearly listen to it. She will be writing a letter, right? Okay, so we have done with continuous form. So let's talk about perfect here. What do you mean by perfect? When an action has been completed, right? When an action has been completed, so that's when you use perfect. Past perfect means some action which has been completed in the past. Present perfect, some action which has been completed right now, right? It has not been completed very early in the past. It has been completed right now, but it has been done. Future perfect, something will be done, right? You get that, right? Okay. You also have to note in future perfect tense there is no be form verb. Okay. So let's talk about past perfect. As we use the same example, she, or let's take he, had, what is the verb form 3? Written a letter. Present perfect, something which has been done right now. He has written a letter, right? Future perfect, something which will be done in the past, right? He will have written a letter. Oh my god, sorry. Right, there you have it. So we have 3 more tenses. This is what we have been talking about. These 3 are gonna be the tougher parts, right? These 3 are gonna be tough. So let's see. Just let's try to solve it together. Let's try. Okay. So past perfect continuous. What does that mean? It does not mean the action has been completed, or rather the action has been complete, but it was continuously done and then it has been completed, right? For example, you doing your project work or your mini project work, or let's say some work which you have been doing, you did it in the past, right? Let's say an assignment a faculty gave you. Okay, so an assignment a faculty gave you, you have finished it. Today is the submission date. It took you 3-4 days to do it. So you started it 4 days back, you have been doing it continuously, and then you submitted it today, right? Meaning it was continuous in the last few days. Rather, continuous need not mean you have been doing the only thing. It means that you have been doing it, right? You have done it on the past, 4th day, 3rd day, 2nd day, 1st day, and today. Even all these days you have did it. So an action which has been let's say repeating all these days, right? Repeating in a continuous form. Okay. For example, exercising, right? When you do exercise, when you did exercise, that is a thing which you have did it in the past, but it was continuous. Exercise is not a one-time thing, right? So let's see here. He had been, verb form is right? But we'll have to use verb plus ing. He has been writing a letter. right? He had been writing a letter. What does that mean? That means someone, when I saw you, for example, when someone is questioning me, when you last saw that person, what were they doing? He was writing a letter. That is what I'd say. But that person has completed it and it has been posted. So I'll know that that person had finished that work. So how would I say it? Simply, he had been writing a letter, but it has been completed, right? So in order for me to say that, I'll use past perfect continuous, meaning he had been writing a letter. So let's take present perfect continuous, meaning that it has just completed right now. Okay, he has been writing a letter. Let's say, let's take this example, present perfect continuous. It's something. See, if I want to say present continuous, you are listening to the class, right? So if I want to say present perfect continuous, at the end of the session, right, at the end of the session, if we say this sentence like she has been listening to the class, meaning the session has ended, the class has ended, some action which that person was continuously doing has ended, right? But it was a continuous thing which that person was doing. So that is what is here, right? And the next one, future perfect continuous. So he will have been listening to the class, right? We can say that he will have been listening to the class. I'm sorry, right? So what does that mean? That means in the future, like let's say a week from now on, or let's say 2 years from now on, you are sitting in a class. I don't want you guys to sit in a class for 2 years after that. Let's say someone is doing a PhD or an MTech or something like that. If you're doing that, so you will be listening to a class, right? I know that, or I believe that. So that is what we are saying here. I guess you guys were able to understand this. So we are gonna go to the next topic. So this is our next important topic which we are supposed to know, right? It is our if clause, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is our if clause. So what does it mean by if clause? If clause meaning something which has, let's say, it might happen, or we do not know whether it will happen or not, right? So we are just saying in future, if something happens, I'll do something like that, right? For example, when your father promises you, like you pass all your subjects, right? You pass all your subjects and I'll buy you a bike. See, that is an if clause. So when you do something, something will happen, right? So it's like quid pro quo, meaning you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, something like that. You get it? Meaning, when something happens, there will be a following thing which will happen. So that is actually defined or said by the if clause, right? So what we need to see here, this is the grammatical part of the if clause, meaning it has two clauses, right? Clause is actually a part of a sentence which makes sense. That I just needed to clarify that. So there are actually three types in it. So type 1 is simple present type, type 2 is simple past, type 3 is past perfect. We just saw what are all the three, let's say, tenses. We saw the 12 tenses. In that 12 tenses, these three tenses, that is simple present, simple past and past perfect, are possible, are the things which can be used, are the things which will come in if clause, right? When these three sentences or these three minor tenses come in if clause, the main clause will look something like this, right? For example, I used the sentence right now, right? Like if these three tenses, let's just write it down, okay? So if these three sentence, so I'll just write it here, okay? If these three minor tenses come in if clause, the main clause will look something like this. Okay. So this oh my god, I'm making a lot of mistakes. Typo, sorry. Like this. Sorry. So these here, if these three minor tenses come in if clause, we are just talking about the present here, simple present, right? So we are saying it will look something like this, meaning the main clause which is here will look something like this. This is an example of our type 1. Okay, I just wanted, it just came on its own. I didn't really think of this as an example to give it to you. I have other examples, but I just wanted to, let's say, give you an introduction about the idea of if clause, right? So let's look at some other examples, okay? See, these are the examples of our if clause. We saw the three types, which is simple present and simple past and past participle. So here what we have are three examples of type 1, type 2 and type 3. So directly we'll go, we see type 1 here. If I study, I will pass the exam, which is type 1, simple present. So simply, let's say for example, your father is coming into your room, right? And he asks you, like, will you pass the exam? You answer, see, if I study, if I am able to do this, if I study, I will pass the exam. So there is a possibility, right? You are talking about a possibility here. Like, if I do this, and then I will get this, right? If I do this, then I will get this. If I study, I will pass the exam. It is as simple as that. If I don't study, I will not pass the exam. It means that. Okay. So type 2. You are in the present and you are talking about something in the past, right? You are in the present and you are talking about something in the past, meaning if I studied, I would pass the exam. So if someone is asking you, or rather this example seems a little tough, so I'll just write some other example for you. If I wrote well, simple, right? Seems simple enough. If I wrote well, meaning if I had let's say prepared for the exam well and I did it well here, I would pass the exam. So let's look at this example here. Let's equate these two, or let's look at this first. Meaning, if I wrote well, I would pass the exam. So if you do not know whether it will happen or not, like there is a possibility that it might happen, right? Possibility meaning there are two possibilities here. Here it is like, it is a sure shot possibility. You get it? It is sure shot. If I study, I will pass the exam. But here it is more or less a very, very probable thing. Like, I do not know, it might happen, it might not happen, I do not know. But if I did this, I would do that. It's something like that, right? Okay, now let's look at the third one. So you are actually in the future, or rather you everything has been done, right? Your credit, or your let's say what do you guys call it, CGPA, right? Your results came out, right? And you're lamenting that you did not pass. Someone failed, not you guys, like someone failed. Like there will be usually that one guy who will say, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. And you'd be like, what were you doing without studying, right? So that is what. So there is literally no possibility, like no possibility of this happening, right? You get it? Like, this cannot happen. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. That is true. Like, whatever that person is saying is true. But will you be able to change this scenario? Like right now, you have got an arrear in a subject. For example, assume, right? You have got an arrear in a subject. And you say, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. See, that is true. If I had studied, you would have obviously passed the exam. But you cannot do anything about it right now, right? So it is the type 3 part, right? I hope you guys understood it. So let's go to the next topic. So finally we have come to the topic of the day, right? So this is a topic which is sentence correction. So I'll just give you an idea of what is sentence correction, and then we'll directly go into the topic. So in sentence correction, you guys would have let's say experienced this in some other form. Rather than knowing the actual term of sentence correction, you guys would have did it, right? Basically they'll give you a sentence. The errors may or may not be highlighted. I'm not saying like it will be highlighted for sure, but the errors may or may not be highlighted. Mostly it will be highlighted, right? For you to know that this is the error. What is expected of you is, you'll have to take that part of the sentence which is highlighted, you'll have to throw it out of the window, and you'll have to use the options that they have given you Like they'll give you 4 to 5 options. If you are extremely lucky, they'll give you 3 options. Like it is a possibility. If it is an extremely tough question, they can give you only 3 options to make it easier. If it is an extremely easy question, they could give you 5, let's say 5 options to make it a little tougher. So it depends mostly on the person who's setting the question paper, or the person who's actually making the question paper, to know what type of question it is, what is the difficulty and all. Mostly this is an easy topic. It is not that tough, but you'll actually have to use your logic here. Without using logic and then solely depending on grammar will not help you solve this, right? You'll have to use your logic as well. Logic which everyone knows, right? I hope that everyone has logic. So that's that. Okay, so as I wanted to tell you, as I already told you, questions will be mostly based on tenses and if clause, right? That is why I took those two topics. So let's see. These are some examples. Okay, so they have highlighted the error. Get out of the building. Someone is shouting at you, right? Get out of the building. It sounds like the generator is going to explode. Okay, so someone is actually shouting at you, telling you that the generator is going to explode. Okay, right. So here they have highlighted it, that is, it sounds like the generator is going to explode. Fine. What tense this is? First of all, we'll have to find out the tense of what tense this is. This tense is get out of the building. Someone is telling to you, right? Get out of the building. When someone is telling it to you directly, so it is in the present. We are able to identify that. So that is the major tense. So now we have 4 minor tenses, which is simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. So that person is telling you, right? So that person is not continuously telling you get out of the building and all, right? That person has told you, but that has not ended. The action has not ended. He has told you something. So it actually belongs in the simple present tense. Okay, so when it in the simple present tense, this part of the sentence should also be in the simple present tense, right? So that is given. The whole sentence should be in one singular tense for you to make sense. Okay, so get out of the building is in simple present. So this should also be in simple present. If this is in simple present, they are talking about the generator here. Is the generator what they are talking about? Is this in what to say? Is this singular or plural? Generator. You guys know what's a generator, right? The thing which runs to produce electricity for you guys, right? So that is a generator. So generator, they have not added s here, right? They have not added s here. So it is actually singular. When it is singular, what do we know? We know that verb should be added with s, right? When it is singular, right, we know in simple present that the verb should be added with s, right? So what is the verb here? We know that the verb here, this is our verb. Okay, this is our verb. We know that this is our verb. It's sound. So just add s to it. It sounds like the generator is going to explode. Do we have an option like that? It is sounding like the generator is going to explode. Sounding. So verb plus ing. This is a continuous form. You cannot use a continuous form here. So the next one. It sounds like the generator is going to explode. Yeah, this seems like the right answer. Just take the third one. It sounds like the generator exploded. Like, get out of the building. It sounds like the generator exploded. That is also possible. But the point is, since it is simple present here, you will have to go with simple present. Is going to explode, right? So this is simple present. So that is what you are going to use. Okay. So that is why this is the answer and not the third one. Third one is simple, not simple present. It is present perfect. Like whatever action that has been done, right? You will not be able to change it no matter what. So that is not the answer. I hope you guys got it. We'll go to the next example. So here we have an example. So what are they saying? I would like to thank whoever it was that wrote that piece of music. Okay, it has given me so much pleasure. So that person, whoever is saying this sentence, is saying that that person wants to thank a person who wrote that piece of music because it has given that person so much pleasure. Right? What is the error in it? Okay, I would like to thank whoever it was that wrote that piece of music. Right? What is the tense here? Since we are able to see was, right, we are able to see was, so it is a past tense, we are able to find out it is in the past. So and then wrote, so wrote meaning it is the write, wrote, written, so it is in the verb to. So was plus verb to, it is actually in the simple past. Right, we are able to find out that the whole sentence is in simple past. So the answer will be more likely would be in the simple past. So what are all the things here? I would like to thank whoever it was that wrote that piece of music. Fine, they are repeating the same one rather than giving the last option as no error or no correction required. They have just repeated the first, that is the same thing. Right, okay. And the next one, I would like to thank whomever. Okay, so they have made a difference here, so I'll just underline the difference, therefore it will be easier for you guys to see it. Whomever it was that has, okay, that has written this piece of music. So this person has, that is in this sentence they have completely changed the tense. Okay, fine. I would like to thank whomever it might be that wrote that piece of music. Oh my god, fine. Fourth one, whoever it was. Okay, fine, super. It starts right. Whoever it was that wrote that piece of music, I would like to thank because, like, what? Whoever it was that wrote that piece of music, fine. Whoever it was that wrote of that piece of music, what are they saying? That someone, whomsoever wrote that piece of music, fine. I would like to thank. Like, thank what? It is raising a question. Thank what? There should be a word him here. Right? If they have included him, this sentence would have been the answer. Right? This sentence would have been the answer. Like, I would have happily said D is the answer. I would like to thank him because it has given me so much pleasure. Fine. But they have not did that here. So D option cannot be the answer. Right? And then here, I would like to thank whoever wrote that piece of music. Okay, this too feels right. So let's go here. Let's look at our other 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So this is the same one. So let's just keep it that way. Here, let's look at B and C. I would like to thank whomever it was that has written that piece of music. They have changed the verb. Right, they have changed the tense totally. So mostly this will not work. So let's just keep it that way. Mostly it will not work. I would like to thank whomever it might be that. So like just look at the grammar part of this sentence. It might be that wrote that piece of music. So the whole sentence is grammatically wrong. Therefore you can directly delete that sentence. If the sentence is grammatically wrong, it cannot be the correct replacement, right? And then we have A, B and E. I would like to thank whoever wrote that piece of music. See, this is a pretty simple statement. I would like to thank whoever wrote that piece of music. Right. I would like to tell you guys there is a difference between whoever and whomever. Right. Whoever is different from whomever, meaning whom, meaning you are asking a question here. Who is also a question, but whom, that is a completely different question. Right, like for example, who did it and whom did it. Like, whom did it does not work, right? That is not how you ask a question. You ask who did it, right? Whomever is not the right one, right? It is asking the question whomever. No, the question should be whoever, right? So it's just simple logic here. And moreover, even if you say whoever, it does not make much of a difference. Here they have changed the whole, let's say, tense of the sentence which we are writing here, right? So that does not work. So we'll have to go with A or E. E is simpler form. I would like to thank whoever wrote that piece of music. Superb. It is actually, it makes more sense. But whatever, see, it might sound nice to your ears, but that is not the right answer, right? The right answer would be something which does not seem right. Okay, E is not the answer. The answer is A. No replacement is needed. Right? I would like to thank whoever it was that wrote that piece of music. It has given me so much pleasure. It has literally no error in it. Okay? Grammatically, that sentence is perfectly right. So now let's look at the next question. Okay, now let's look at this question here. Work that is not finished is not work at all. It is merely a botch, a failure. Fine. What is the error here? Like they have not highlighted what the error is. So what we'll have to do, we'll have to use our options which they have given to find out what the error is. Okay, I'll just quickly highlight it for you. So they have started with all and ended with failure. So this is gonna be our error part of the sentence. Okay, so what do? We'll have to find out what are all the differences that they have given here in the options, and we'll try to replace it with the right one. Okay, so all, it is merely a botch, a failure. So they have basically said the same thing here. All, it is a botch merely and a failure. Okay, all, this is a semicolon, it is merely a botch comma a failure. Okay, all semicolon, the work merely is a botch and a failure, right? All semicolon, the work being merely a botch, a failure. So what have they done here? They have taken multiple tenses, right? They have taken multiple tenses and then they have given you them as examples, right? So and one more thing we'll have to note here is the punctuation that they have given here, right? For the first two sentences it is comma, and in the last three sentences they are semicolon, right? We'll have to know the differences as well, right? Comma, you can, like when you want to separate two different sentences or two similar sentences or whatever, if you want to have a pause, then that's where comma comes in. Semicolon is used when you want to differentiate or when you want to say that there are two different sentences but they mean one and the same, right? But they mean one and the same. Their meaning or their sentence or their subject is one and the same, right? So here it is our logic, a little bit of grammar. Okay, so what are all the things that are possible? We'll do that. Okay, all, it is merely a botch and a failure. Fine. All comma, it is a botch merely and a failure. So what do you mean by a botch? Botch meaning something that they did to actually make it fail, right? To actually make it fail. So they are repeating it here, and moreover, botch merely, no, it does not work that way, right? It is merely a botch. That is the only thing which is right. Merely a botch meaning merely something that I have did is a wrong. Something that they have did wrong is merely, that does not work. Fine. And the third one, all semicolon, it is merely a botch comma a failure. Fine. All semicolon, the work merely is a botch and a failure. See, they are talking botch and failure. They are one and the same, right? You cannot repeat it again and again, and by using an and is used to say or to join two different things or two similar things, but it is actually redundancy here. Botch, failure, they are redundant words. You cannot add them with an and, right? So therefore this option is not at all possible. The work being merely a botch and a failure, right? Work that is not finished is not work at all. So what are they saying here? What tense is that? First of all, they are saying it in a simple present tense, right? Work that is not finished. So it is basically simple present tense. So in simple present, they are actually trying to involve being meaning that it is actually a future tense, simple future. So that does not work. It is mostly like elimination way we can solve it. Okay, so this could be right, and or this could come. Okay, so here what do? They are adding two the different sentences, but their meaning or their main subject is the same, which is they are talking about work here. When they are talking about the same subject but in two different sentences, you add it with the semicolon, right? You use a semicolon. So when you use a semicolon, this whole thing becomes the answer, right? You are not supposed to use a comma. Comma is used to denote a pause. It is not used to join two sentences. Therefore, this is the answer. So now let's look at the next topic. So sentence completion is gonna be our second topic for the video. So I guess you guys would have gone through sentence completion. Sentence completion is very simple. It is basically let's say fill-ups. Like you guys would have did it in your school days. That is, you guys would have did choose the best answer and fill-ups and all, right? So let's say a bigger part of it or an advanced part of it is sentence completion. More or less, you'll be answering only questions based on English. So this is actually the easiest topic that you can come to, because you need not use let's say too much grammar. All that you need to know is just basics, right? So as I've said earlier, it's more like Phillips. It's a little complicated, and all that you need is basic English grammar, right? But one more thing, right? What feels right to the ear need not be grammatically correct, okay? So just think about it. You'll have to use your logic, you'll have to use grammar, and then you'll have to fill it up. That's all. So let's see some questions here. Okay, so just one second. Right. So our first question is these are examples. So nothing dash convinced her to cancel her trip to Goa. So here the basic tense is let's say past tense. Cancelled, that they have said here. So that is a past tense. So past tense have is possible, had possible, has been is impossible, because has been is our let's say present tense, right? Could have is possible. So what are they saying here? Like nothing, right, dash convinced her to cancel her trip to Goa. Whatever anyone did would have convinced her to cancel her trip to Goa, right? Let's try our basic method, which we usually do. Nothing have convinced her to cancel her trip to Goa. Does not work. Nothing had convinced. No. What are they saying? They are saying nothing could have, meaning like no matter what anyone did, it could have convinced her. So could have is the answer, right? So this is as you can see, these are pretty basic questions which anyone can answer if they have a decent understanding of the grammar part of English, right? Okay, now let's look at it here. Months have passed and no action dash been taken for a dowry harassment filed against the in-laws, right? So someone has let's say filed a case against their in-laws because they wanted dowry. Okay, so what we'll have to do here is we'll have to look at let's say singularity and plural, like whether it is singular or plural, the subject. Months, it is plural, right? So they have used the verb plural. And no action is basically singular, right? And when they are saying months have passed, so now they are talking about now is present. So since it is present and singular, we go with has, right? Very simple. So now let's look at other example. Okay, now look at this question. The room is more expensive because it has a spectacular view dash the beach. So when we look at it here, they are talking about a hotel room, or let's say it is only a hotel room. The room cost is more expensive because it has a spectacular view dash the beach. So they are talking about the beach. Okay, so they are talking about the beach. So which word will you use? So when you use from, it means that you'll usually use to describe the distance. View for the beach, when you use for, it is meaning when you are doing it something for someone, right? Spectacular view to the beach does not work, right? To the beach meaning you are pointing at the direction, whereas of the beach meaning you are pointing at the direction of the thing which you are talking about. So you are talking about something, and if you are specifying the direction and specifying the thing as well, then of fits, right? So next question. She studied dash entire chapter for an hour before the examination. So basically one person has studied, right, entire chapter for 1 hour only, right? That is what we usually do. Like any student, even me, I would have studied one chapter only. Okay. So let's try using our usual way. What do? She studied in the entire chapter. In the entire chapter does not work. When you use in, it means you are actually inside. So that is not the case here. Okay. She studied of the entire chapter. How do you study of the entire chapter? You study the entire chapter, right? So basically, you study the entire chapter. You do not study of the entire chapter. What is the difference? When someone says you studied of the entire chapter, it does not mean anything, right? The is used to specify something, right? The is used to specify something. Of the does not work here, right? So these are like pretty basic easy examples. So now let's just look at other example. So here, as we see, we have two questions. Here we'll mostly use logic as well as our grammar, right? So the question here is, what were the servants' dogs doing when the robbery dash place? So let's say in a house, the servants have dogs, right? So the police, let's take the police is questioning, what were the dogs doing, right? When the robbery dash place. So the robbery has already happened. So it is in the past, right? So when it is in the past, we don't go with take, right? So the option take is actually void, right? And then we have took, was in, were in, right? Robbery is a single thing. You cannot say it is a, if they say it's a cluster of robberies, still it is a singular thing only, right? It cannot be where meaning plural, right? Okay, now we have two only. That is, when, what were the servants' dogs doing when the robbery took place? What were the servants' dogs doing when the robbery was in place? So there are two options which can be used. See, when you look at it here, if I use when the robbery was in place, meaning I'm talking about a thing which is in a place, like which is very specific. I know the object. It is like we know the object and we are talking about this place, but that is not the case. Robbery here is an object, but it is in the English part of it, it is an object, but it is actually an act, right? So it is not an object as they use it in wasn't. Therefore, the answer is robbery took place, right? So we will look at the other question as well. So today, dash the inaugural day of the pub. The drinks were served free of cost. Many of you will be extremely happy, right? Today, so what are they saying? So they have started a pub. Okay, pub meaning a bar, or let's say, I guess you guys know that, right? Pub. So today is the inaugural day. Therefore, the drinks were served free of cost. We can use two things here. Since it is today, it is actually the present. Was is not at all possible. Was meaning it is the past. That is not possible, right? Today, been does not work. Been is only for future, right? We can use today is. Today is the inaugural day of the pub. The drinks were served free of cost. But when you look at it, the sentence, the next sentence here, see, is this perfectly possible? Today is the inaugural day of the pub. Superb. If you finish the sentence there, is could be used. But it is not so. The drinks were served free of cost. Meaning the drinks, what to say, are being continuously fed, right? So since it is being, drinks were served free of cost, meaning a continuous action took place. Since a continuous action took place, we'd have to go with being. That is, today, being the inaugural day of the pub, the drinks were served free of cost. I hope you guys got it. So now let's look at some questions. I have compiled a questionnaire wherein we'll be able to understand and see some more questions. Okay. See, in this question, a conjunction is used to connect words and sentences together, right? So there is no, let's say, there is no blank space in which we need to fill up the answer. Therefore, this is sentence correction type question, right? So since it's a sentence correction type question, they have not highlighted the part. So we can use this words and sentences together. So I'll just underline it for you, therefore it will be easier for you guys. Words and sentences together. So this is our error part. So what is the error actually here? So before we go to the question, we need to find out, or we need to know, what is a conjunction. See, conjunction is a word which we use to, let's say, join sentences or join words, or join words with sentences, or sentences with words, or whatever. You guys know that, right? And, but, though, although, even though, not only but also, in spite, despite. So however, all of these words are conjunction. So we use them, we can join words together or sentences together. So that is a conjunction. Since we already know what is a conjunction, we need not wait and see what is happening here. Like we can directly go and we can go to the answer. So what are all the options that they have given here? A conjunction is used to connect words and sentences together. Okay, words or sentences together, fine. Words and sentences, words or sentences, words to sentences, fine. So basically they are playing with words here. That is what they are doing. They are trying to confuse us. So what we actually know, conjunction is used to connect let's say words, sentences, anything. It could connect anything, right? So it is not used to connect words and sentences together, right? So it is not just that. Word can be connected with word, sentence can be connected with sentence, sentence can be connected with word, not just words and sentences. So this one is wrong, right? And then words and sentences, this is also wrong. Words or sentences, right? Words to sentences. Words need not be necessarily connected to sentences. It could be connected to words too, directly to words also. So this is also wrong. Words or sentences together, or words or sentences. Two options we have. A conjunction is used to connect words or sentences, words or sentences together. So together is what is the important word here. So since we delete this, we can go with the answer as this, right? So we'll go to the next question. Between you and I doubt that he will come. Okay. So here we'll have to just use logic as well as a little grammar. See, when we are talking about two people, in which one person is the person who is standing next to you and the other person is you usually say it by you and me, right? You do not use you and I. So anything which uses you and I is wrong, right? So you and me is the right answer. So we have three options three options. So what are they saying here in the sentence? Between you and me, right? It is staying between you and me. I doubt that he will come. So does that have any kind of error in it? It is saying that is, whatever I'm going to tell you, it is going to stay between you and me. We are not going to say it to anybody else. Okay. So I am doubting that whether that person will actually come, right? So that is what they are talking here. Let's say they are talking about a party, or rather they are talking about a field trip, or an IV. So two friends are talking about one more friend. One friend says that he has a doubt that he will come or not, right? So this part of the sentence does not have any kind of error other than you and me here. So this is directly the answer. We need not work like I doubt that he would come. Like we need not go all the way and check everything. Like we can, since we eliminated two, we have three with us. In these three, we'll have to find out which fits. And since this fits, we directly fit it and be done with it. We'll see some more questions. See, this is our easy type questions. Two questions. So let's try answering them. The business dash incurring losses since early September. Fine. So you guys, like someone is running a business, okay, and it is incurring losses since early September. So since they are talking about early September, it is not actually the current present, meaning not the direct present. So since it is not, does not work, right? And then they are talking about early September. They are not talking about some years back. Since they are actually saying it in months, meaning it is somewhat near, it is actually a present, right? But not too far past. Like let's say, how should I say it to you? Like yesterday, like when you compare yesterday with yesteryear, right? Yesterday is actually a present compared to last year, right? Like you are able to see the timeline, right? It's like drawing a line. Like let's say yesterday is like one centimeter line, and yes, last year is 365 centimeter line. Okay, so this is comparatively smaller. It becomes the present, right? So how do we say a present is actually a variable quantity. It is not actually a fixed quantity. So anything can be taken as the present. This week can be present, this month can be present, this year can be present, this decade can be present. It depends on what you have been let's say comparing it with. Okay, so since you are comparing it and you are saying it in actually months, so it is actually present, right? So in that present, it is not actually past. So had been is past, right? And been can work only, how do I say it? Only when you use it with has or have. It does not work with is. Therefore, this is also an error. So what are we left with? We are left with has been. So that is the answer. Right, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, had to look up for another hotel as Hotel Paradise did not have any rooms. They were completely dash. Okay, here we are gonna use our logic here. So one person wanted to book a hotel. That hotel is Hotel Paradise, right? And they did not have any kind of room. So if it means that they were let's say they did not have any kind of room, need not mean they are totally filled, right? Need not mean it needs to be totally filled. If someone says I'm gonna come before you, like if you are booking and someone has booked before you, that is also fine, right? So it means it has been booked. That is all. So that is all, very simple. So if it is, let's say for the sake of talking, if we take up, like if it is only if it is full, you look at something else, right? If it was vacant, they were completely vacant, you need not look for another hotel. And if it you don't talk about closed, okay? Like they were completely closed. What do you mean by closed? It does not make any kind of sense here, right? Only if it is booked, you go to a different hotel. See, filled is possible, but a hotel being completely filled is not at all possible. There will always be rooms in it, which will be free, right? And there will be intermittent bookings, which will give you the idea as if it has been completely filled, right? So we look at other questions, right? This is also a pretty simple question. What kind of question is this? This is actually a sentence correction question. So according to the options that they have given us, the whole sentence itself is an error. So as if it could be an error. Okay, you are taking a loan to buy a car, annoyed father. So when we use logic here, someone is actually telling you that what you have did has annoyed your father. Fine. Okay, so you are taking a loan does not work. You taking a loan works. That is like the, let's say, the basic things that we learn in English grammar. Therefore, you taking a loan is the only possible thing. So you are taking a loan is an error. So A option and B option are gone. Okay, we have an E option. Father was annoyed by you taking a loan to buy a car, right? Father was annoyed by you. Father was not directly annoyed by you. He was annoyed because you took a loan, an idea of what you did, right? So he was not annoyed by you. You didn't directly go, you did not pester him, you did not annoy him. Your idea or what you did annoyed him. So those are two different things, right? You are not supposed to change the idea or the core of a sentence. You are supposed to change only the error in a sentence, right? So we have two sentences here. You taking a loan to buy a car, irritated father, annoyed father. So as I said, you are not supposed to change the important parts or the core of a sentence. Therefore, C is also right, but for the sake, C is wrong. Therefore, the only answer which is right is D, right? So we'll look at some other question. So when we look at the questions here, it is actually Ali, A-L-I, not A-L-L. So there's an error. So let me just quickly correct it. So we have right. Ali is the fastest runner, right? Dash all the students. So we have between all the students, in the middle of, among, in between. So when do we use between? We use between when there are two things and then there is a thing sitting in between it, right? When there are three things, when you want to describe the thing which is in the center, that is when you go between. That is when you use between. Okay, so between does not work. Okay, so what about in the middle of? See, Ali is the fastest runner in the middle of all the students. No, Ali is the fastest runner among, right? Among meaning they are using, they are all grouping all the students, right? Among everyone, he is the fastest, right? So between and in between, they are actually one and the same. Therefore, that is also wrong. So among is the one which is fits, right? Okay. The next question. It was a seesaw battle. What do you mean by a seesaw battle? Seesaw battle meaning you guys would have seen Fast and Furious, right? So in Fast and Furious, whenever those guys are racing, one guy will go ahead and then the other guy will go ahead and then the other guy, and it will go on and on, right? So that is a seesaw battle. But Manpreet dash ahead in the third round for the win. It is basically like Dominic putting his car in the lower gear and accelerating, which is not at all possible, but still he does it somehow. So let's assume, okay. So it was seesaw battle, but Manpreet dash ahead in the third round for the win. Flowed ahead, okay. Ebbed ahead, okay, possible. Perched meaning sitting comfortably, so that does not work. Like surged ahead, okay, possible. Receded meaning going back, so receded it is not at all possible. Okay, ebbed is possible. Flowed and surged is possible. So here ebbed meaning like going ahead. Surged meaning actually going ahead in a very fast way, in a very high amount, right? So that fits better than ebbed or flowed, right? Since it is a fight or since it is like a race, surged fits, right? Therefore I'm going with surged here. Okay, so now let's look at some other questions. So guys, two questions here. Okay, due to these reasons we are all in favor of universal compulsory education. Universal compulsory education sounds really good, right? Yeah, it should happen. Okay, so let's see this line, where is it possible? Like it has been said in the last, so they have listed some reasons, okay, and then they are saying due to these reasons we are all in favor, we need universal compulsory education. Okay, so what are all the options they have given? Out of these reasons. What do you mean by out of these reasons? They are listing reasons, and because out of these reasons it does not work. By these reasons, no. Because of these reasons is possible. By these reasons, no, it does not work. No improvement needed is actually fits. That is, due to these reasons, possible. Like I don't seem to think there are any errors here, but due to meaning that because that something like this has been done, we are going to do this. So that is not how favor works. Favor works because we are all we want this, right? Not because this has been done, something needs to be done. We want this. When someone wants it, that meaning for these reasons, right? So that is why this thing works. Like for these reasons is the right answer. Okay, next question. According to the recent research by experts, many women become victims of trafficking. So what are they saying here actually? So some experts have done a research, that is recent research. So by recent research we are able to ascertain that it is, what to say, it is somewhere in the present, right? It is somewhere in the present. It is something which is happening or something which has happened or something, so you get it, right? It is something which is in the present, right? So let's see. According to the recent research by experts, many women become, okay, victims of trafficking. See, women are plural, right? So women are usually plural. So when it is plural, you can directly say women are becoming. Women becomes, no, becomes, that is possible only when it is singular. Woman becomes. So that is possible. So the whole option which they have given here is an error, right? Women became. So since they are talking about recent here, this is the only example which fits. So therefore that is the answer. Evidently this is the last question which we are going to see in this video, but it is one of the most important topics. Respect everyone, guys. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, so we are done with the topic. So that concludes the video. I sincerely hope that you understood what I was trying to teach you guys. So stay safe, actually wash your hands, be clean, stay away. That is, I mean, social distancing, guys. That helps. Okay. Until then, take care.